Hey guys, this is Sarah with Raven's Crochet. Welcome back to my channel. I'm coming at you with another tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how to do this stitch. I don't remember exactly what this stitch is called. It is a double crochet V-stitch without the chain 1 spaces. Without doing the chain 1 spaces in the V's. To me it looks so much better on a bulkier yarn. This is a velvet weight. This is a number 6 bulky weight yarn I'm using for my grandmother's project, and I just think it looks so much better in a bulkier yarn than it does in the 4 weighted worsted yarn. But for the sake of this tutorial, it will be so much easier for you guys to see my stitches, excuse me, and just see what I'm doing. So I'm using a 4 worsted weight yarn and with a 6mm crochet hook because it's my favorite size to work with on medium weight yarns, and with doing the stitch it'll give you better drape. It'll give me better drape in my project. So we're doing this stitch here. I'll kind of leave it there in the corner so you can kind of see it. And here's my end. We're going to start. Now when you do this stitch you have to start with an even amount of rows. So we're going to do 12 here. I'll just show you guys how to do a swatch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to double crochet in the 5th chain from hook. The loop on your hook does not count. That is your working loop. Your completed loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right there's the 5th. We're going to yarn over and go underneath 2 loops and then do your double crochet. Do 1 more in that same space. Do 2 double crochets right there. So now we have a chain 3. That's going to be the end of our row. And we have a space, 2 double crochet, skip 1 space, do 2 double crochet in the next space. Make sure you get 2 loops on your hook. 2 more. There's 2 double crochets on that space. Skip the next space, yarn over and double crochet in the next space. Make sure you get 2 loops on your hook and do 2 double crochets right there. Skip 1, double crochet twice into the next space. Then you should have 1 chain space left on your row. Do a double crochet. And this is the first row. You'll see that you have a double crochet on each end, and then you have 4 clusters of sets of double crochets. You have 2 double crochets in a set. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to chain 3. Then we are going to double crochet right in between these double crochet clusters, right in between, right there. We're not working into the chain spaces, into the stitch spaces I mean. We're working right in between there, not the chain spaces, but right in between. Do 2 double crochets right in the middle. Find your next cluster. There's a space in between. Do 2 more double crochets. Yarn over, find your next 2 clusters, work a double crochet twice right in that space. There's your next cluster, work 2 more double crochets in between those 2. Work 2 new double crochets in between the 2 double crochets down below. And then yarn over, and you can either, this is personal preference, you can either work in that chain space or you can just work right on around it. I just work right on around it. It's much easier and quicker. And that's row 2. Row 2. Chain 3. Turn your work. Do a double crochet twice in that chain space right there in between. We're not working into the stitch spaces along the top. We're working right in between those double crochet stitches. Right in the middle. 2 more double crochet. Yarn over, 2 more double crochet between the next 2 double crochet stitches. Just kind of keep going down the row. There's your next cluster, work right in between them. And your last one, just double crochet right on around that thing. It's personal preference. You can work right around that or work into 2 loops over your hook. Work into the loop, I mean. And so that's what that stitch will look like. I'll do one more round with you guys. Chain 3, turn your work, yarn over, there's your first cluster, work right in between them, 2 double crochets. 2 double crochets right in between those 2. And 2 more between these 2. Oops, feel stuck. Make sure you kind of wedge your finger between a little bit to make sure you're going in the right space. Take your time with this. Make sure you're inserting your hook where you should be for this pattern. Because sometimes I'll catch the side of the double crochet stitch instead of the space in between. I'll kind of catch something in the middle, and then I just work right around the last bit right there. And as your rows get longer, as your work gets longer and bigger, these rows will even out, and it'll have like this decorative fan edge around your edges, and it looks really pretty. Now if you want to, if you don't like gaps on your ends, do like I did on the strap for the water bottle slinger. Some of this work came in, and I'll go back and show you. You work your last stitch in the last row, and then you can chain 1 and then turn your work. Then you can just do a double crochet right there at the end, and then you can do your 2 double crochets there in the middle. And then I ran out of yarn because I cut it, but you see the idea. You do your last double crochet at the end, and then you chain 1, you turn your work, and then you do a double crochet right there. That way you don't have any wide gaps at your ends. Now when I'm doing this pattern all by itself, like if I'm making a blanket or a scarf, I don't do that. Especially if I'm working with a fuzzy yarn, I don't do that. It makes it too complicated. It actually takes a couple more seconds each time you do it, so it takes more time on your overall project. So on blankets and scarves, something big like that, a shawl or whatever, I just chain 3 and I go up and I turn my work and then I do the next round, the next row. So, but again, it's personal preference. You can chain 1, turn your work, do a double crochet in that first stitch, or you can chain 3, turn your work, and then move on to the next space where you need to stitch. So again, personal preference, but you've seen it both ways, so you take your pick. I take both picks depending on what project I'm doing. But if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I read every single person's comment. When I do, I give you a heart. That way, that lets me know that I've read your comment, and it lets me keep track of it. Plus, I love it when you guys leave comments. I really do. It means so much to me that you guys are taking the time to listen and watch my videos, and you're leaving comments. And then you mail stuff to me that I mentioned in videos. That's like the coolest thing ever. Like, I don't expect that at all. But you guys have really been encouraging me to do some tutorials, and this is just a TV tray that I'm doing with my phone stand and as much lighting as I could get in here right now. This is pretty much the ideal spot where I will be doing my tutorials, is in my dining room area, surrounded by all my yarn. And so anyways, I really appreciate you guys sticking with me and bearing with me on these tutorials. I should be on my new camera soon, and I will be doing a couple of other things here coming up really soon. So I really appreciate you guys. Again, I can't say that enough. Really, thank you so much. And if you are a new subscriber, thank you so much. You are now a Yarny friend on this channel. And sincerely, I love all of you guys, especially if you take the time to leave comments and email me. I really do appreciate that very much. So I hope everyone is having a great day. Please stay safe, and I will talk to you guys soon in another video. And you might have heard Raven in the background. She says hello too, and she's wanting my attention. So off I go. Bye guys, love y'all.